Hello again, welcome back to the channel. So as I'm gearing up to leave the UK here in a salubrious NCP car park, I'm going to go do some work in a hotel, just get out for the day. It's a lovely day here in sunny Bristol, as you can see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video today on, I think probably some of the things, like a top 10 list, the top 10 things that I'm going to miss about the UK. So yeah, I'll make a video in a minute once I get into the hotel and get a coffee and stuff. I'll see you in a minute. Hey everyone, welcome back. So whilst I am incredibly excited about the new adventure to Dubai, there's definitely things in the UK that I'm going to miss. So I wanted to share my top 10 things that I'm going to miss when I'm living in Dubai. Number one, believe it or not, is the weather. So I know the UK gets a bit of criticism for the weather, but I think there's something charming about a temperate climate. I will actually miss the changing seasons. Mild summers, for example, and autumn's actually my favourite season. So believe it or not, I'll actually even miss the occasional rainy day probably, which is perfect for being indoors. You know, when you're looking out the window, you see someone out in the rain and you think, oh, I'm glad that's not me. Number two, green spaces. So the UK is lovely and green with beautiful parks. There's places like the Lake District, the Cotswolds, the West Country where I live is absolutely stunning. My feeling is Dubai is quite manufactured and it's just a desert, so we'll see if that grates on my nerves after a while. Number three, cultural heritage. The UK has a ton of history and heritage sites, places like Stonehenge, Buckingham Palace, the British Museum. You've just got to turn a corner here and you'll find a house that's 500 years old. Dubai is very different, it's very modern, probably equally impressive, in fact probably more so. Yeah, I will miss that cultural side of the UK. Number four, pubs and cafes. There's nothing quite like a British pub in the winter, enjoying a local beer, Sunday roast. I know I'll of course miss afternoon tea and scones, but in reality no one has ever had tea and scones in the UK in the last 500 years, apart from maybe American and Japanese tourists. Number five, local food. So things like fish and chips, the full English breakfast, which I'm an absolute monster for. Yorkshire puddings, they're probably some of my favourites as well. Seasonal stuff like mince pies, Christmas, hot cross buns, that sort of thing. Number six, probably the most important, are my friends. I don't really have family in the UK, so they're not really here to miss, but being close to loved ones and having the ease of visiting friends is something I'm going to miss. Just that comfort of familiar circles and things that just can't really be overstated. And number seven is driving. So I'm not going to have a car in Dubai, at least not initially, so I'll be relying on public transport, which luckily is extremely good. Things like the metro and taxis, but I will miss being able to just jump in a car and go somewhere, but you know, I can hire a car, I guess. Number eight, cultural events. So the UK has a ton of cultural things, festivals, theatres, local fairs, you know, Glastonbury, Edinburgh Festival, Notting Hill Carnival. There's loads of local things in Bristol where I live. So there's the Harbourside Festival, which is actually on this weekend actually, and something called Love Saves the Day, which Bristol's quite hipster actually on the quiet. Number nine is shopping. So believe it or not, there are some quite iconic British stores like Harvey Nichols, Harrods, and the good old Borough Market, and you know, markets in general. I know Dubai has some insane malls, but and I doubt I'm going to be starved of shopping, but it's just the things that are like quintessentially British that I'll probably miss. And number 10, seasonal changes. So finally, I think the beauty of the changing seasons is something that I've always loved. As I mentioned earlier, autumn's always one of my favourites. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. The summers here never get too hot, but the problem is we don't have aircon in the UK, so even when it's not that warm, we can still get quite sweaty and uncomfortable. So there's also the local stuff, like local traditions like Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night, stuff that's unique to the UK. So these are the top 10 things I'll miss about the UK when I move to Dubai. I'm excited and it's going to be nice, and it's, you know, it is quite nice to reflect on what I'm going to miss about the UK, because I have run it down a bit in the past. Let me know in the comments what things you miss from your home country if you've moved abroad. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, sacrifice a chicken to Moloch the owl god, and don't miss out on the updates on my Dubai adventure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.